I'm very strong, I'm very confident, and I live my life. I take care of myself and of our son and my husband, and I'm doing great.
All right, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett took time out of the House Judiciary hearing on immigration visas to insult First Lady Melania Trump and her legal status.
Yeah. I'm confused as to why my Republican colleagues aren't talking about the lack of integrity when it comes to the president's family's visas. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what that stands for is an Einstein visa.
We mentioned Jasmine Crockett. She says that Donald Trump is more dangerous to America than the illegals who are in the United States. And she's gone on this rant, furious that Donald Trump didn't consult with her before bombing Iran's nuclear sites.
They may claim we law and order, blah, blah, blah. So go get the undocumented people and let's try to ship them out. Let me tell you something. They are not the people that are putting us in harm's way. It is him and his administration that is putting us in harm's way.
Look, I mean, I have my own mind. I do listen to lots of people, and then it goes through that, and I do what I think is right. But I am very open, and I think what she also means is that I'm very open to listening to a lot of different ideas and a lot of different people.
Also, Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett dropped out of the race to become the lead Democrat of the House Oversight Committee.
The reality is that what they are claiming what they want to do versus what they're actually doing, the actions don't match up. And while we are supposed to be talking about visas, somehow we continue to cherry pick and talk about one criminal act and another criminal act. And it is so very interesting to me that, yes, we will say people are xenophobic, because when you start to decide that just because somebody came from another country, they are automatically some kind of criminal, that does sound kind of xenophobic to me, because you are using a paintbrush to paint an entire group of people where the vast majority of them are coming here because they are actually seeking a better life. But let me get to what this hearing is supposed to be about. The idea that Trump and my Republican colleagues want to restore integrity and security in the visa process is actually a joke. Let me be clear. Integrity is not snatching lawful visa holders off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vans. Integrity is not revoking visas based on social media posts that hurt somebody's little feelings because kids decide that they want to go after Trump or this administration. We have a thing called free speech in this country. And since we're talking about integrity, I'm confused as to why my Republican colleagues aren't talking about the lack of integrity when it comes to the president's family's visas. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And that stands for is an Einstein visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin' here. Nevertheless, what Republicans are doing with this reconciliation process, the travel bans and revoking visas, jeopardizes our national security. It threatens our communities, our higher education, and our economy. Visas like the largely vetted J visas for higher education and M visas for trade, training, attract the next innovators, medical providers, researchers, and educators that we need to build on American success.
To that display, again, from a sitting U.S. Congresswoman against a First Lady, mind you, who championed an anti-bullying program in her first term.
Well, first of all, I think the First Lady is magnificent, as do most of the country. I am very proud of her and her accomplishments, and I wouldn't dare question her history, how she came to the United States. or what she's done, because what she's done is magnificent. I'm so proud of her and the work that she's doing as our First Lady. As for this hearing and my colleague criticizing her, I think the best thing to do here would be to ignore it. I think that the radical view of the Democrats is one where they want to ignore the open borders that have destroyed our country, and I find it pretty rich that they would go after someone like the First Lady who came here as an immigrant, like millions of Americans with her who came here the right way. All the while they've turned a blind eye at the open borders over the last 4 years of Biden that have really destroyed our nation. They're okay with the riots in LA. They're okay with destroying small businesses and violence and unrest, but they want to go back in time and rehash the immigration path of Americans who did it the right way. And I think that's a shame. And I think the American people see through that. And I think the American people are happy that Republicans are in charge and that there is law and order being restored. The border is secure. We've had no crossings in the last several months, no illegal crossings. And now we are working to ship the illegals out of this country. The big, beautiful bill will do that. And I believe that's the path we need to go in. And I think spending time acknowledging radical comments and hearings is a waste of time.
Well, you mentioned Jasmine Crockett. She says that Donald Trump is more dangerous to America than the illegals who are in the United States. And she's gone on this rant, furious that Donald Trump didn't consult with her before bombing Iran's nuclear sites.
There is someone who is occupying the White House who does not care about any rules, any norms, any laws, nor the Constitution. And we cannot be a civilized country if there is no law and order. So I know they may claim we law and order, blah blah blah, so go get the undocumented people and let's try to ship them out. Let me tell you something, they are not the people that are putting us in harm's way. It is him and his administration that is putting us in harm's way. I am telling you right now that I legitimately have had no intel whatsoever, zero intel as a sitting member of Congress, regardless of how you feel about me, regardless of my party affiliation. No one has consulted specifically with me or anybody in my office to give us any information. And so the idea that this dude sitting in the White House, because it didn't come from Congress, so the only person that it could have come from would be him. So this is me making assumptions, and he's talking about he gonna jump on and talk about it after the fact or whatever. We are putting our loved ones as well as those in this country in harm's way, and I legitimately have no understanding of why or how. And so I just want you, if you're following my page, chances are you're probably not MAGA. But I need you to talk to anybody that supports this dude and his agenda or whatever. And I literally need you to wake them the fuck up. Because everything since he has stepped into office has done nothing other than put us in harm's way. And there have been reporting about one of our special planes and how it recently left Louisiana and it had landed in DC, and basically if there is a nuclear war, the situation is that, well, he can be up in the air and sustain whatever. This guy doesn't care about us, and frankly he should not be in our Oval Office when everything that he does is literally against everyone, not just those that opposed him, but those that actually supported him as well. There is nothing that this man or this administration has done that would make anyone believe that we are sending our best or that we have our best in place in any respect. There is no reason that any president, and frankly, the fact that you decided to do this on a Saturday. Now, the Senate was in this week. The Senate was in. But you decided to do this on a Saturday right before we come back. To me, that is not by happenstance, but that is very intentional on your part. There was nothing that happened today. Like, I mean, who knows what kind of propaganda he gonna put out there in the streets or whatever, but the reality is that we are supposed to be briefed on certain things in what we call a skiff, which is, you know, when we walk into a skiff, you can't even have your watch, you can't have your phone, you can't have nothing. And that is where we are supposed to get intel to be able to make decisions and to be made aware of various like threats or issues. Literally, you could have hollered at us on Monday, because that's when I go back. I go back in on Monday. You could have hollered at us on Monday if you truly felt like there was something. Like, there is nothing that they will say that will make me believe that this action needed to take place, and it needed to take place without the consultation of the Congress. All right, give me one more.
How can the Senate be involved to make them accountable for what they're doing?
I mean, listen, y'all was talking about accountability. The systems have broken down. The systems have broken down because people have legitimately decided that they would rather serve him than serve the people that put them into office. Like, I don't really have any, like, good answers for you, except for the fact that legitimately everything that he does is like against the law. Like, he just breaks the law. And I know that there are some people that think that I just say this stuff because I'm a Democrat, and I can tell you, I have my own issues with my own party. I'm not saying these things because I'm a Democrat. I'm saying these things because I am a black woman in America who just happens to be educated enough to know what the law is. And I can tell you that while some people want to disparage my credibility and act as if I don't know what I'm talking about, I can absolutely guarantee to you that if you Google war and authority and constitution, you're gonna see Congress. And this thing that's like on my chest tells you that I am a member of Congress. I don't really know. Like, and the biggest problem that we face right now is that we have an administration that does not care about making sure that they abide by rules or abide by the law. And I don't think that we're, well, I'm not gonna go there, so I'm not gonna say. Okay, so the question is, what can Congress do? What are our congressional powers? We're the only ones that should be declaring this. Like, here's my deal. We have engaged in a slippery slope. When he did the Enemy Aliens Act, regardless of how you feel about immigration, there was a permission structure that was created that allowed him to say, you know what, this 1700 law, I'm going to implement it, even though we're not currently in war, which is the only time that it's actually supposed to be implemented. When you start to allow people to use powers, same thing with the tariffs. He said, oh, we're in an economic emergency. Basically, anytime you are in an emergency situation, then it allows the executor, whoever it is, whether it's a mayor, a county executive, or a governor, they are allowed a lot more latitude so that they can move a lot more swiftly because of the emergency situation. And so what he has done is he has declared everything around us an emergency so that he can bypass Congress for everything. But I am telling you that, like, there's nothing that gave him this authority as far as I'm concerned, and the only check on him is to literally kick him out. Like, that's the check. And guess what? It's not gonna happen, because we don't control the House, we don't control the Senate, and frankly, the people that are in control, they do not care. Like, they don't care about the people that elected them. They will sit there and allow him to decimate and desecrate our Constitution, to go ahead and continuously violate all the laws, whether they are criminal or otherwise, and they are not putting a check on him. And so literally, when somebody tells you, like, you can do whatever you want to, he's like, okay, just think about, like, that dude that you let walk all over you. and you stay with him. That is exactly who the Republicans have decided to be. They have decided to be that chick that allows a dude to walk all over them, and they just gonna stay and ride it out no matter what. So I need everybody to activate, because even if you're relying on members of Congress, there's only 435 of us in a country that is hundreds of millions of people. Like, the power still resides with you. So please, please, please activate yourself, educate yourself, and educate somebody else. So before we even get to the midterms, we have all kinds of city elections, county elections, state elections. The only time that we're winning is when we are going to court, and it's usually our local elected officials that are actually beating this administration. So I would say, number one, make sure that you are engaged and informed and actually voting and getting others to vote in your local elections. By the time we get to the midterms, absolutely, I don't really care how you identify. I don't even know if you need an identity. Right now, it is sanity versus insanity. And so literally just vote for anybody that's not a Republican. Like, that's, like, that is what everyone needs to do, is just vote for whoever is not the Republican on all the ballots, at least for 3 ballots, until we can go ahead and recenter ourselves and rid ourselves of literally this virus, because that is what it feels like, is that there is a virus that has infected us.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.